Have you ever noticed that as the years go by, you tend to steer clear of social interactions more and more? Perhaps there was a time when you loved being around others, but what about now? Being around some individuals can really drain your energy. If that resonates with you, you're definitely not the only one. As we grow older, our focus changes, our tolerance for trivial matters diminishes, and we start to perceive the world with a sharpness that only comes from the passage of time and the lessons learned along the way. In this video, we'll dive into 7 important reasons why many individuals in their 70s and beyond begin to pull away from social interactions. By the end, you may come to understand that your instinct to be more discerning about your company is not just a natural inclination, but also a positive choice for your mental well-being. Stick around until the very end, as grasping these 7 reasons will not only bring you comfort in your decisions, but may also spark a fresh appreciation for the insights that come with growing older. All right, let's dive in. First and foremost, you have zero patience for shallow discussions. There was a moment when casual conversations were simply woven into the fabric of everyday existence. Something you experienced at your job, during family get-togethers, or with your community. However, as time passes, you begin to understand just how insignificant these discussions truly are. Discussing the weather, sharing the latest gossip, or engaging in trivial conversations about inconsequential matters can often feel like a drain on your energy. You've dedicated years to tackling real challenges, overcoming obstacles, and gaining valuable insights. At this point in your journey, you seek out deep and impactful discussions, content that sparks your imagination and leaves you feeling fulfilled instead of exhausted. It's interesting how, when you attempt to dive into more profound topics, a lot of folks seem to check out pretty fast. People seem more interested in gossip about who did what or the latest TV trends, rather than engaging in conversations that truly matter. Rather than enduring pointless conversations, you begin to embrace quiet over-chatter. You find yourself embracing solitude, not out of loneliness, but because it offers a deeper sense of fulfillment than fleeting social encounters. Consider an individual such as Richard, a 73-year-old who has retired from teaching. He was once the center of attention, always eager to engage in lively discussions. However, at social events, he often drifts off while others discuss celebrity gossip or vent about trivial matters that will be forgotten by tomorrow. He prefers to cozy up at home with an engaging book, enjoy a stroll through nature, or dive into a deep conversation with someone who resonates with his passions. Honestly, can you really hold that against him? As you age, it becomes clear that your time holds great worth. You've worked hard for it, so go ahead and use it in ways that bring you tranquility. If that means stepping away from discussions that don't add value, then that's just how it goes. Secondly, you've realized that not everyone is worthy of your energy. There was a moment when you thought you had to be courteous, engage in discussions, and keep connections alive merely for appearances. Perhaps you sensed an obligation to support others, even when they didn't return the favor. As you age, your perspective begins to shift. It's important to understand that not everyone is worthy of your time, and not every connection is valuable enough to keep. Consider this. How often have you invested your time in individuals who only seem to take without ever reciprocating? Have you ever found yourself listening to someone vent, offering your support through their struggles, only to discover that they never really valued your presence at all? In your younger years, you might have put up with this kind of behavior. But now, your patience for it has run out. Your journey has taught you that tranquility is invaluable, and you are determined to protect it from any disruptions. Consider Margaret, for instance. At 75, she was once the go-to person for anyone in need of assistance. She would set aside all else to help out, share her insights, or simply be there to listen. Yet, when she sought help, those very individuals were absent. One day, she had an epiphany. If a connection leaves you feeling more depleted than fulfilled, it's time to reconsider its value. Now, she exclusively connects with those who genuinely care, and she feels more liberated and joyful than ever before. It's not about holding on to resentment or frustration. It's all about recognizing your value. You've gained enough experience to realize that not everyone is worthy of a spot in your journey. When you cease to invest your energy in the wrong individuals, you create room for tranquility, happiness, and connections that genuinely count. If you're still tuned in and appreciating these insights, drop a number 2 in the comments to show me you're with me. If you haven't hit that subscribe button yet, now's the perfect time. Don't forget to turn on notifications so you stay updated with all the latest content. All right, let's keep going. Thirdly, you're feeling weary of shallow discussions. There was a time when you would engage in casual chatter, put on a smile, and go along with discussions that held little significance. You'd tune in to the latest buzz, engage in lighthearted banter, and feign enthusiasm for subjects that lacked any real substance. However, as time has gone by, you've recognized that your time is incredibly valuable and shouldn't be squandered on trivial conversations. You seek engaging discussions that enrich your intellect and spirit. You're eager to dive into discussions about existence, insights, and the elements that hold real significance. You find yourself captivated by conversations that linger in your mind long after they've wrapped up, as opposed to trivial talk that fades away the instant you leave. It's not that you've turned unapproachable. Your patience for meaningless chatter has diminished. Consider Robert, for instance. At 73, he would endure lengthy discussions brimming with grievances, chatter, and trivial exchanges simply out of courtesy. One day, he paused to reflect, questioning why he continued on this path. Why was he wasting his time on negativity and nonsense when he could be focusing on activities that truly enriched his life? From that day on, he cut out conversations that left him feeling exhausted and began connecting with those who appreciated deep and engaging talks. When you embrace substance over surface, a transformation occurs within you. You begin to draw on individuals who share your mindset, appreciate similar values, and leave you feeling uplifted instead of drained. It's not about excluding others. It's all about selecting discussions that infuse your life with happiness, insight, and meaning. Fourthly, you have zero patience for relationships that aren't mutually beneficial. There was a moment when you would go above and beyond to keep connections alive, even if it felt like you were the only one trying. You would initiate the conversation, set up the agenda, and consistently be the one reaching out. After years of selflessly giving without getting anything in return, you finally recognize that you deserve connections that are balanced and reciprocal. It's clear that certain individuals only make contact when they have a request. They don't check in on you or demonstrate real concern. People tend to recall your presence only when it suits their needs. Honestly, you've had enough of that. Life is too brief to pursue those who don't appreciate your worth. Consider Helen, for example. At 76, she consistently took the lead in every situation. Reconnect with old friends. She would reach out, send thoughtful notes, and put in the effort to maintain that connection. But one day, she made the choice to walk away. She was curious to find out who would take the initiative to connect with her if she held back from reaching out first. Guess what? Quiet. Time passed. Days became weeks, then months, and not one person reached out to see how I was doing. That was everything she required to understand. When you cease pouring energy into one-sided relationships, you open the door for authentic, significant connections to flourish. You begin to connect with individuals who truly value relationships, offering as much support as they gain in return. That type of connection is definitely something to cherish. If you're still tuned in and appreciating these insights, drop a number 4 in the comments to show me you're with me. If you haven't hit that subscribe button yet, now's the time. Don't forget to turn on notifications so you stay updated with all the latest content. Your support enables us to keep producing engaging material that informs and inspires you. Let's keep pushing ahead. At number 5, you find yourself disengaged from shallow discussions. There was a moment when you could endure casual conversations, nodding along as someone rambled about the weather, the latest celebrity buzz, or the antics of their neighbor's cousin. But now you find no interest in pointless conversations. When a discussion lacks substance, significance, or even a touch of emotion, it's easy to lose interest. You actually find joy in engaging with others, and that's a great thing. Yet, you yearn for genuine discussions the type that linger in your mind well beyond their conclusion. Let's dive into discussions about life, the insights we've gained, cherished memories, and the valuable lessons that time teaches us. Your goal is to engage, not merely to occupy the space with empty chatter. Consider Richard, for instance. At 73, he began to realize that social gatherings were more exhausting than enriching. He came to understand that the discussions were monotonous, merely the same casual exchanges repeated time and again. He decided to switch things up. He ceased putting himself in scenarios where he had to pretend to care and began looking for individuals who had a genuine passion for exploring life. As a result, he experienced a sense of lightness, freedom, and greater peace regarding how he utilized his time. At this point, you realize just how valuable your energy truly is. Having a single, profound conversation with someone who genuinely understands you is far more valuable than having many superficial ones. Superficial interactions that result in a sense of emptiness. And that's a clear indication of progress. This signifies that you've progressed past superficial relationships and begun to appreciate depth over mere numbers. Coming in at number 6, you cherish your alone time more than being around others. There was a time when solitude might have seemed like isolation, but now it feels like tranquility. You've realized that being alone isn't something to dread. It's truly something to hold dear. In solitude, you embrace your true self without any masks. You're embracing your own unique perspective instead of conforming to someone else's reality. You're simply yourself in the most authentic and relaxed manner imaginable. Consider Eleanor, for example. At 74, she discovered that she could find fulfillment within herself without relying on the constant presence of others. For years, she attended social gatherings that held no appeal for her, endured conversations that failed to spark her interest, and prioritized the comfort of others, often sacrificing her own tranquility in the process. But one day, she found herself pondering, what is the purpose behind my actions? That inquiry transformed everything. She began to prioritize her time, cutting out the social commitments that left her feeling exhausted. Instead, she dedicated more time to reading, strolling, and savoring her own reflections. And you won't believe this. She experienced a joy she hadn't felt in years, not due to eliminating people from her life, but because she ceased to push for connections that no longer resonated with her. Choosing to enjoy your own company rather than spending time with the wrong crowd reflects a profound level of self-respect. It signifies that you are done putting up with connections that fail to enhance your life. It signifies that you've recognized the value of safeguarding your time and energy. Once you grasp that concept, everything transforms. If you're still tuned in and appreciating these insights, drop a comment with the number 6 below to show me you're with me. If you haven't hit that subscribe button yet, now's the perfect time. Don't forget to turn on notifications so you stay updated with all the latest content. Your support enables us to keep producing engaging material that informs and inspires you. Let's keep pushing ahead. 7th on the list, you've let go of the need for validation from others. There was a moment when the views of others held more weight than they really ought to have. You were concerned about their opinions of you, if they appreciated you, and if you were meeting their standards. But now that burden has been released. You've reached a point where seeking validation from others is no longer necessary. Take Richard, for instance. At 76, he discovered something truly significant. Many individuals are often preoccupied with their own lives to dedicate significant time to critiquing others. For years, he had carefully navigated his relationships with family, friends, and colleagues, constantly striving to meet their expectations. He set aside his own preferences and voice solely to keep the peace. But what did it bring him? Overwhelmed, irritated, and a life that seemed completely disconnected from his own. Then one day, he made the choice to walk away. He began to express himself through his style, sharing his thoughts openly and choosing paths that aligned with his own interests rather than conforming to others' expectations. So, guess what went down? Absolutely nothing. The world remained intact. People didn't just flip on him out of nowhere. In fact, their respect for him only grew. When you exude confidence, it captures attention. At this moment, he has found a level of tranquility like never before. He confidently shares his thoughts without hesitation. He doesn't revisit discussions in his mind, questioning whether he made a mistake in what he said. He's liberated. True freedom arises when you let go of the need for validation from those whose views don't shape your joy. When you find yourself at a stage where you stop going out of your way to satisfy everyone else, you've discovered something truly unique. You've entered a phase where your unique perspective, personal decisions, and individual happiness take center stage. And that, my friend, is an amazing spot to find yourself in. Wrapping things up, many people experience a shift in their social habits as they age, leading to a tendency to seek solitude more often. It doesn't imply that there's anything wrong with you. It usually signifies that you've acquired insight, understanding, and a more profound awareness of who you are. The individuals you decide to surround yourself with today are not merely those who are nearby. They're the ones who add meaning, tranquility, and genuineness to your existence. That's an indication of progress, not solitude. At this point, life is focused on cutting out the clutter, avoiding pointless chatter, and stepping away from connections that leave you feeling exhausted. It's all about conserving your energy for the things that really count. It's all about prioritizing meaningful connections that enrich our lives rather than settling for surface-level exchanges. If that requires being more discerning, then so be it. That's not solitude. That's growth. How about you? Do any of these points strike a chord with you? Have you observed a change in your interactions with others as you've matured? We appreciate you being here with us today. We're eager to hear your thoughts. Drop a comment below and tell us one thing you discovered today and how you intend to apply in your life. We value your opinions, so feel free to let us know what you think. Your feedback truly inspires and uplifts us. If you found this video enjoyable and useful, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and share it with others. Your support enables us to keep producing engaging material that informs and inspires you. We appreciate your viewership and can't wait to connect with you in our upcoming video.